Alhamdulillah. And today, in keeping with our theme and making a difference and earning sawab jariyah, let's ask ourselves or ask yourselves, how much have we done for our hereafter and our akhirah? You want to tune in? If you want to tune in as well, we are live on Facebook. Our guests are going to be live on Facebook. Alhamdulillah. So please remember that you can tune in on Facebook, and it is going to be awesome because today is a day where you are going to make a difference. You are going to be trying and earning sawab jariyah. And remember that sawab jariyah, like we heard Maulana Vanka earlier, he said that it is accumulating for our akhirah. That is for long after we have passed away. There are several different means of how we can attain our sawab jariyah. So it is imperative that we reflect and accumulate good deeds so that long after we have left this world, we know that inshallah we have at least tried to accrue our deeds or a balance of our deeds. Alhamdulillah. And today, being the best day in a Muslim's life, that is Yawm al-Jum'ah, what better time and day to commit towards leaving a legacy, even if it's just with a 50 rand. So if you have 50 rands in your pocket, you may be having 1 rand, and now you decide, I'm going to give this to a masjid, I'm going to give this to a center, I'm going to buy a brick. How wonderful is that? Because it's going to go such a long way. So today we speak to Brother Ismat Mohammed. He is the chairperson of Huda SA, and that is the Humanitarian Development Alliance, South Africa. We would also like to welcome the manager of Huda SA, Sister Amina Nabi. Ahlan wa sahlan, marhaba to you, and welcome to Yadul Ansaar, and Jazakallah for availing yourselves today in studio in my hot seat.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh, and jazakallahu khairan for having us on air.
An absolute pleasure to have you in studio today, and you are live on Facebook as well. So I hope that people will be interacting with us there on Facebook, and in fact giving us a positive response to what we're going to speak about, and that is this Ilovo Center. So Brother Ismat, let's start with you. You have been speaking about the Ilovo Islamic Center on different shows on Radio Al Ansar. So we are familiar with this project by Huda SA. Can you please describe the area surrounding the Ilovo district, and please place in context the caliber of people who frequented the old center? And by the way, also, you can just tell us why the old structure was demolished.
So sister, when you come from Durban and you're going towards the south, as you travel through and you get towards Winkelspruit, you normally take a left to Winkelspruit and you take a right to Ilovo. Ilovo was the rural area of Winkelspruit. After Amanzim Toti, that area. And it was formerly a rural area. It's still a rural area considered under the Ingoniama Trust. The people initially were very poor that lived there. There are some people from the working class and some not so poor, well-to-do people that have moved into the area. So the area has become a semi-rural, going towards a kind of an urban area, because initially there weren't very many houses and much development taking place there. But over the period of years, the development has increased, and now you find many houses, and they did a lot of RDP houses. But still, the majority of people come from a very poor background. Because what was also amazing, they probably had lack of information. Many of them did not even know that Islam existed. Now, this is like 30-40 minutes away from Durban Central, and the people did not know that Islam existed. So you can say that there were people who had lack of information and lack of access to resources to understand that there is a religion of Al-Din al-Islam. But it was like I said, it was previously a rural area. But like many rural areas in South Africa, a lot of them are becoming urban with a lot of developments of housing that has taken place there, schools and community centers that have been built in that area. Now, on the issue, initially, many years ago, when Sheikh Yusuf Mbalo established the Islamic Center, actually the land that he was using was given to him, where he bought that land to do a chicken farm. and where he was cutting and slaughtering chickens, halal chickens, and that's when people came to ask him what is halal and why you wearing a kurta and why you wearing a hat, and that's why they got interested in Islam. There was another organization that helped help him develop the center, but they did a very very basic center. And the problem with that center was it wouldn't last for very many years. They were really struggling. Initially, when we went in, we had to do the roof and we had to do other things and assist in repairing quite a bit of leaks in the roof. And then there were problems where it needed painting, and there's certain other rehabilitation that took place. And also, they had a hand pump for a borehole. So, over a period of time, unfortunately, this center started collapsing. The foundation, the walls, the roof started caving in, and this became dangerous. I mean, there was a period of time where we had to completely stop salah and all activities because it became too dangerous. And when we got a professional team involved, the architect, quantity surveyor, and an engineer, they said, nope, the only way to do this is to demolish the center. And also, they built it on a waterlogged area where every time it rains heavily, the entire area gets flooded. So they did not develop a suitable foundation for the building. And this is something we need to learn, that, when we're doing something, we must do something that is sustainable. Like you use the word legacy. Legacy, the emphasis on that is it has to be ongoing and something solid. And that's what we're doing now. Building a center that will be solid, inshallah, that will last for many years, inshallah.
Inshallah. Inshallah. Jazakallah for explaining that as well. And yes, the area where the people come from, they obviously now, in not a position where they can afford it. And like you said, it's so surprising to hear that you're 40 minutes away from Durban, but and in the rural area, in the heart of the rural area, and people don't even know about Islam. So there's a lot of work to be done, inshallah, and hoping that Islam spreads through all the
Inshallah.
entire, rural areas in the greater KwaZulu Natal.
There's a very
Inshallah.
small Muslim community that was there, and their children were not going to madrasa. And by providing the facility with the madrasa, Alhamdulillah, it means that the children, so not only promoting the Deen al Islam, but making sure that Muslims who are in these areas are given access to Islamic centers where their children can be educated and we can continue the legacy of al Deen al Islam.
Inshallah. I mean, I think what is key to note here is education. Alhamdulillah. So, Brother Ismet, would you like to explain to us about the economic bracket structure? Do the majority of Ilova residents fall into?
The small Muslim community come from a poor background, so obviously they cannot contribute to the center or assist. And then you got the emerging Muslim community, where majority of them come from poor backgrounds. Even those that come from a working class background, they're sending their children to madrasa, and maybe some of the ladies have started. But because it's in the initial stages, they're not very economically viable people. They cannot afford, so they won't be able to really contribute to the center. Inshallah, over a period of time, as we've done in Amlazi Masjid, we will do collections for the masjid, because we believe local people must contribute to the center. But to build a center, unfortunately, we don't have much people over there that will be able to contribute to the center. There are one or two Muslim businesses that have now been established there but those fellow Muslims are from Durban, and they are contributing towards the building as well. But generally, the community, no, unfortunately, they all come
No
from
income.
poor and maybe, let's say, working class, but at a very low level from a financial perspective.
So, Brother Ismet, okay, I just wanted to ask you as well about how many people, frequent this center. About what would you
So
say? The
when it comes
numbers.
to the ladies, there's about 18, 20 ladies that come to the center. There's about the same figure around men, about 20 men, males, and obviously it increases now and then, because, like I said, there are businesses in the area, and there are certain businesses that have started establishing in the area. So, like for Juma, there may be an increase in the number, more than 20.
mm,
But the children, there is something like 70 children who come to the madrasa. And what happened to the previous structure? It was just one room. Now you have males, you have females in the same. You need to run a madrasa class. You need to run a madrasa, and like I said, 67 children. You can't have them in one classroom in one masjid. So therefore, the importance that we need to establish, and these centers, when we establish them, we need to make sure it addresses the need of the community.
mm.
Therefore, like the new center will have two classrooms. So when the number increases continuously, then we'll be able to accommodate them. And this is sometimes the challenge we have. And then obviously you must remember there's boys and girls. So we have an apa and we have a sheikh. Now they can't be teaching in the same facility, and then Salah is also
Listen,
read in the same
yes.
facility, you know. So therefore the importance of expanding the center to make it relevant to the needs of the community.
Inshallah. So, Sister Amina, we're going to be moving on to you, Alhamdulillah. So, what does phase two entail and of the Ilova Center, and which sections would you prioritize at present for completion?
Assalamu alaikum. Currently, we are in phase two. Can you hear me? Okay. We
Yeah,
are
I can. Very
okay.
clear.
Okay, we are in phase two and we are concentrating in plastering of the wall, the screening of the floors, waterproofing of the wet areas, installation of the floor finishes, installation of the ceiling, the paint work for the walls, the plumbing, the drainage installation, electrical installation, joinery installation, fencing, gates, burglar bars installation, retaining walls installation, paving of the external areas. So that's why we come here to appeal to the Ummah, to the Muslim community, to please assist us in completing the phase two.
I'm sure, inshallah, people listening on the radio as well as they are now live on Facebook. Inshallah, this will, infiltrate and will get through to people. And remember that it is Friday, and it's the best day to actually, give on a Friday to be charitable, because the rewards are much more greater on a Friday, and that is why we make these appeals on a Friday, every Friday, and inshallah, people will come. I'm sure that you have had positive responses. Your phase one is done, and inshallah the phase two will also be completed, and like you say, there's quite a lot to do. Brother Ismet, what are we looking at in terms of monetary expenses? Can you just give us
So
a
initially, the entire project was
overview,
costing
please?
4 million, and most of it went into the foundation because, like I said, it's a waterlogged area. And the issue at hand was, maybe some people will say it could have been done cheaper, but the problem is, like I said, the foundation. The reason why we
Yes.
did not go to another place is because a center was established there for over, it's possibly around 8 to 10 years, and you can't just
Right.
leave. And there was another religious group that wanted to take over, and obviously it would have created confusion between Islam and other religions. So we had to continue, therefore. So phase one was 2.5 million, of which we raised, and phase two is about 1.5 million at the moment that we need to raise to complete the center.
Inshallah. So, people should not look at that 4 million as being a huge tantamount amount. They should look at it for, whatever it is, families can get together, they can raise money, they can, some families, like I said, prioritize the completion.
Mm.
So we're coming to our next, our
Well,
question. How
just to
can our
explain to you, we
listeners
did not
or
raise the
community
2.5 million
members
from one donor or one person. It was an entire
be,
ummah. People who gave 50 rand,
inshallah, be,
even somebody who gave 10 rand, 100 rand, 200 rand. It was various amounts. And Alhamdulillah, every cent makes a
alhamdulillah.
difference because its actions is judged by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by the intention. And what we find in community work, when people contribute, when they give it with the best of intention, it has so much of barakah that you can't believe. And sometimes, I look at my colleagues and the board members and say, hey, we got no money here. And next when I turn around after 1 or 2 months and I look and say, what happened here? All of a sudden, money came from everybody, every single
Exactly.
individual. And that's what's, it's a united effort by the ummah in establishing the first phase. So we
No,
encourage
definitely. And
people.
Brother
I agree with
Ismat,
you. Don't look at the big amounts. Let's look at your contribution from your heart with your dua, and even all the good people who could not contribute but made dua with. All together, we make it together and we build the masjid, inshallah.
I mean, so Brother Ismat, how can our generous listeners, community members, be convinced that assisting to rebuild the Ilovo Phase 2 center is a means of sawab jariyah, rewards for the hereafter? Can they donate to only a certain part of the center on behalf of their elderly or deceased parents or children, or for themselves?
Well, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam encouraged the charity of sadaqah jariyah. He said, this is one of the acts of ibadah that will remain with you until the day of Qiyamah. And this is by contributing to a masjid, all right? A project that is ongoing and continuous. And that's what Ilovo Islamic Center. But also remember that the Ilovo Islamic Center is a responsibility of Ummah, not this Huda essay. So when the Prophet ﷺ encouraged it, he didn't only say it meant that for the deceased, it meant for those that are living, those that have passed away, and those that are to come. Because remember also, we must remember, whilst we are alive, we must start contributing for ourselves as sadaqah jariyah, and for those that are also around us, the loved ones living, and for those that are passed away, and at the same time for those that are to come. But whilst we have the opportunity, this is a great opportunity for us to contribute sadaqah jariyah that will benefit us not only in the akhirah but even in this world. Because by promoting al-Din al-Islam, that is our first commandment, and that is very important, and that's why the center was established, and to maintain the Ummah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that they continue to practice Islam and give them a base to work from and to have programs. So it's very, very important for us to contribute for ourselves, for our loved ones who are alive, and those that have passed away. And inshallah, even those that are to come.
Inshallah, that's well said. Alhamdulillah, definitely that, even if we just take out a little bit, especially whether it's a water well, whatever it may be for the center and what you want to contribute to, you can do that. And inshallah, that remember that will be sawab jariyah for your loved ones, whether they are living or whether they are deceased. We are accumulating for
also,
our
Sister Aisha, what people can
hereafter.
do is they can say, okay, 50, 100, or they can say 200 rand or 500, whatever they can contribute. And they can give it as a gift of sadaqah jariyah for a loved one in the family. So what people will do is they'll say, okay, I've done this, but you know what, can you guys please give us like a certificate or some type of acknowledgement? I can send it to my family
Yes.
members, and we will do that. We will definitely help them with that, and they can give it as a gift of sadaqah jariyah to a family member.
Alhamdulillah. So, Sister Amina, what would your message be to our ever generous, kind hearted souls listening to us now? There are so many around the world, all over listening to us as well. What would your message be, and how can they make this difference?
Okay, Brother Isma did say about Sadaqah Jariyah. I would like to also add to that people can also give us their zakat that will go towards the beneficial of the orphans and vulnerable children that we also see too. We also collect lillah for the continuous support for the welfare. We also do education and nutrition, and also give monthly grocery hampers. So people, you don't just stop at the construction. We carry on supporting families and the welfare of the children in the area as well.
Alhamdulillah, well said. Yes, so you can contribute your lila, you can contribute your zakah as well, and inshallah that will go towards
But Sister Aisha,
feeding
they
the kids.
must, when they're making intention, it's just not lillah. If they're making intention for continuous sadaqah jariyah, they must say sadaqah jariyah.
Jariyah. Okay,
Very
inshallah.
important. They must
So,
make that intention firmly.
innamal amalu wan niyya, inshallah. Jazakallah khair for that, and clarifying that as well. So, Brother Ismet, can you please, or Brother or Sister Amina, can you please provide us with contact details if they want to? I don't think it would be, giving out banking details here. We'll put that on our website. But I think it's important for you to give us your contact details so that, inshallah, when they want to contribute, and they will contribute, inshallah, they can call you and find out more about your banking details.
Inshallah. Okay, the office number is 031-271-3049. And they can contact us on our cell phones as well with Uncle Ahmed Farouk. His number is 069-516-2189. They can also contact me on 069-845-0691, or alternately Brother Ismat Muhammad on 071-419-6186. They can even visit us at our office on 37 Barnes Road. And if they want to also visit the site, they can contact us and we can arrange for them to visit the site as well. And all donations, when they are doing donations, they must please, for reference, put their name and their cell phone number. And we also give Section 18A tax certificates
to projects that are Section 18A related, and also they can visit www.huda-int.org, our website, and also they can go to Facebook, Instagram at Huda_INT. But when she said 37 Barnes Road is in Sydenham, Overport. So it's not far from most of the people. They're most welcome to visit our offices. And like she said, please, we encourage people to bring their children along, to bring their families along and visit the centers. And this is one of the 16 centers and the one orphanage that we support. So any of those centers they would like to visit and take their children, we encourage them. And we encourage people to also bring their children and grandchildren along. Sometimes if they want to do a feeding on a certain day and they want their families to interact with the Muslims of those area or the children, they must just let us know, make plans well in advance, and we will arrange all that, inshallah ta'ala.
Inshallah. Jazakallah khair so much for coming into studio today, for being live on Facebook as well. And shukran. May Allah Ta'ala, reward you abundantly as well. And may Allah Ta'ala bring to fruition this project, and may people of Ilovo benefit Islamically. And remember, you will be reaping the benefits in this world and the hereafter. So shukran to you, Brother Ismat and Sister Amina, for coming in. Inshallah, we will contact you again and ask you about the center and how it has developed. And if there are lots of positive responses from our community, please do let us know via WhatsApp. And you can also go onto our Facebook page and tell us about, you don't have to give names or anything like that, but just say that Alhamdulillah, many people have now come on board with you, inshallah. So shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khairan.
That was Brother Ismat and Sister Amina Nabi from Huda SA, and they were talking about the Ilovo Center. You can contact them on 031-271-3049. You can also contact Brother Ismat on 071-419-6186 WhatsApp as well, and Brother Farouk 069-516-2189. You can also contact Sister Amina on 069-845-0691. I will be putting up the poster, and all their numbers are there and what is required for the Ilovo Islamic Center. May Allah Ta'ala reward you all abundantly for even contributing 1 rand or 50 rand, whatever it may be, for your Sawab-e Jariyah, inshallah. And like we said before, we hope that, inshallah, through the barakah of the community in that area as well, that Islam spreads and there